first things first. Scary movies, scary games, or scary content. If it's not a book, by the way, I actually enjoy the horror in books. I think it's fun. But in media that you have visuals and also audio, especially, it's way too scary for me to even attempt consume them. For example, in this case, FNAF games were too scary for me at the time, and maybe still. Um, I just watched videos on them. I've seen playthroughs from Markiplier, theory videos on MatPat. Now, the theory videos were much on the fun side, to be honest. I wouldn't really say watching a theory was scary, but it was more on the interesting side. So yeah, that's my halt in this situation. I'd like to clear that out. So let's begin. Now, in the movie, I think there were some nice references to the games, and one of the things that we've seen at the beginning of the movie was Mike waking up, and the clock starts ticking, the alarm, I mean, and then Mike wakes up. But what I liked about that scene is that, first of all, of course, the alarm clock is the same with, in the games and stuff. So there was like 600 at the screen with the alarm clock. And then the black screen went to the waking up scene, and the alarm clock was at the same place as the, that writing, basically 600 and stuff. So I really enjoyed that. Although it was a simple thing, I think it was cool. Now, I've taken notes as I watched the film. Like, there were some bullet notes, small notes. So most of the stuff I'm gonna talk about are gonna be chronological in the film. By the way, there will be spoilers. Do I need to tell it? I don't know. But I think even with the spoilers, there are very little spoilers. There is one at the end where I kind of talk about, how the movie takes a dramatic shift, I guess. So I may timestamp that. So if you haven't seen the movie, you may still watch the video. But I would advise skipping that part specifically. Anyways, the next thing is, at the beginning of the movie, we also see Mike go to the pizzeria, and he pulls the curtain, and so we see Bonnie for the first time in the movie. And I think it was so funny because like, we see Bonnie staring like this, and then normally this should have been a scary moment, I guess, like a flinching moment. Oh, something like that, because Mike reacted like that, I guess. And so after seeing Bonnie's face like that, I was like, I couldn't fear at that moment, So I was like, is the movie gonna be like this? Because hell no, But anyways, it was just the beginning scene, so I moved on. But animatronics in general were looking kind of goofy. I think they were goodly represented. When I look at the animatronics, I can see the animatronics in the games. So I have no problems in that side, but that doesn't change the fact that a bear animatronic or a bunny animatronic looking, goofy in real life. So they look goofy. What can I do? They're good models and stuff, but like, they're goofy. What can I do? Like, literally. In another scene, we've seen Foxy at the back of Mike. So we see Mike from the front, and he is, meddling with something, and behind him there is a door, and at the alley we see Foxy when there's an electric blackout scene, that comes and goes and stuff. So we see Foxy at the back, and then he vanishes. So that scene was also goofy, I think. And like I said, animatronics in general looked so goofy in this film, I couldn't really frighten them. Also, I just see in my notes I've written when it's Vanessa felt so random, leading to the Morgan of. Did you catch that? Leading to the Morgan of the night. When dein Brain denkt in zwei languages. So yeah, Morgan is German for morning. So basically, anyways, Vanessa felt so random. Like at the morning she came to the Freddy's, she says like, "Don't let this place get to you. You know, just do your job and you'll be fine." Basically, but literally, if I'm not mistaken, she's a cop on duty, right? In this movie. And so he, patrols around the city, I guess, at the night with her car and uniform. So I would assume she's on duty. But she visits this rundown pizzeria at the middle of the night, gets inside, talks with the security guard, and, hangs out with him. And around 6 a.m., she goes out and says, like, okay, bye bye. Like, what? Like, I don't remember perfectly, but she has to at least stay there for 2 to 3 hours, maybe even longer. So, Madame, what? You're saying Mike should, just mind his own business, but at the same time, are you? I was like, what are you talking about? And back to the animatronics, because there's just a lot of notes on animatronics, guys. I'm sorry. Even at the scene where Bonnie kills a burglar, it was still too funny, dude. Like, I think I'm sorry. I know an animatronic just killed a guy, but it's still so goofy. I don't know. Like, I don't know why. It's just funny. Like, it was a brutal scene, of course, and they didn't show us, but you can guess what happened. And although it was a brutal scene, I think it was just funny with Bonnie. And there was this scene in the movie, and I have a screenshot. Bonnie and Chica staring at the camera, and all I could think of was, them dripping, basically. Like, look at that chin. God damn it, Bonnie. And I think, first scene that I was literally shocked was this one, and I recorded my reaction. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting that to happen at all. So I'm not sure if this is particularly with fear, but yeah, it was an interesting, well-made scene in my opinion. Yeah. So there's this thing with Vanessa that I don't understand in the movie, is that she's too friendly to the mic. Like, is this because this is a PG-13 movie, or you know it's just a writing choice? I don't know, but she's just too friendly to the mic, and I don't get it. Like, why? Why are you so friendly to a random night guard at a rundown pizzeria? Like, she acted when they first met, when they meet at his house, and the day after, by the way, the night after, I guess, yeah, the night after Freddy's got, people broke in and, break the shit out of this place. And they died, by the way. Like, they died there. So I would assume, as a cop, Vanessa would at least find blood stains if, animatronics were to hide the bodies. Like, you would at least find bloodstains, you would investigate that scene, or at least file it, call the other cops, I guess, if you find a place like that. But she just goes to Mike and, talks about it. And after listening to Mike's past, she just gave him a pat on the shoulder and said, no more sleeping on duty, Buster, what? Like, I know on the security breach, she's actually a guard, a security personnel, or I don't know. Um, so her being a police officer in this movie is kind of huh, but like it's okay for me. We can separate movie and the games, I guess. But what I don't get is she a cop? Because I really don't think so. And when I'm looking at my notes, I really just see the animatronics and Vanessa. Like my main points of taking notes were on them basically in the whole movie. But Vanessa really feels odd. Like she feels so random. Like she's too bright and doesn't feel like a normal character. When I think about Vanessa, like this picture comes to my mind. Like this is Vanessa. And like what? Like there was this scene where Mike asks, you seemed very scared back there. Can you explain why? And she goes like, you can do whatever you want with your life, but if you put Abby in danger one more time, ma'am, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like she goes, if you put Abby in danger one more time, I'll shoot you. Like what the hell are you talking about, ma'am? And after seeing this fort building scene, a castle building scene, I was like sure that this movie wasn't to scare. Like of course I knew they were gonna target for a younger audience and a more general audience. Like they targeted for PG-13. That explains a lot. But after that scene, I was sure, like it's a cute scene. Don't get me wrong. It's an interesting, fun scene. But really, you know, huh? And with that scene and the general interactions between the gang and Abby, I was like, this is cute. I never imagined animatronics in their actual job because of all the games and theories and all. I really didn't think about them actually working at a point in their, life, I guess. I've always thought about them as they're these, monsters, killing machines and, souls and, all of that. But with their interaction with Abby, I've seen that normally without haunting stuff, they're pretty cool. They're pretty fun. So that was interesting for sure. So yeah, it was very wholesome. I think they depicted how that would be in reality. Um, because to me, when I see pictures from Chuck E. Cheese, or when I think about this, like, no, like I say, yeah, kids would like that, but what kids don't know. But when I see this, I go like, yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. Like an animatronic, with these interactions and all. Yeah, it's cool. I understand. I can understand it. Like I've mentioned so far, everything that Vanessa does up until the end makes you ask why. And at the end, they reveal that it is because the killer, Michael Afton, is her father. But I'm like, really? I don't know. Uh, She's still too bright and stuff. I really don't understand. Like, that being the explanation. Like, I guess, yeah, that can be the case, but like, hmm. At a scene, Mike takes down Bonnie and Freddy with like a half-filled bucket of water and a taser. But the question I have is how that actually works. Like, these animatronics have circuits. Okay, I get that. But they also have fur or plastic outer body. I really don't know. So, like, I wonder how 2 centimeters of water and the teaser shot gets to the circuits, if that's that's the principle of how that works. Um, how? I don't know. Because as far as I know, plastic or fur is not the best when it comes to, make it passing the electricity or stuff. I don't know. I think one of the coolest scenes in the movie was the yellow bunny reveal. Like, it was chilling. I really liked it. The glowing eyes and, all that posture getting out and stuff. I think it was very, very cool. And after reveal was also like, what? I wasn't expecting that to the bit. Afton being that the first guy that, gave us the job was phenomenal. I really didn't expect that at all. So yeah, that was very interesting. Another thing is Afton actually stabs Vanessa, which was like, huh? What? I wasn't really expecting that. Now, near the end, there was stuff that I wasn't really expecting. That may be because I'm very unexperienced in, horror movies or this horror in general, but I wasn't really expecting that, so I was shocked by that. Another cool thing was at the beginning of the movie at kindergarten, I think that woman was Abby's teacher, and she says like to Mike that kids communicate with drawings rather than speaking and all. And at the end of the movie, Abby communicates with animatronics via drawing. That was revealed to be the case for Afton manipulating the animatronics as well with a drawing. Or I'm not sure if that was the case. I don't think Afton actually drew that to manipulate them, I guess. I don't know. But it was told that animatronics thought Afton was a good guy or something, so they obey him. But Abby goes to that painting wall and just paints out, and orders animatronics to get Afton, actually, which was interesting. Another very, very impressive scene was Afton Springlock scene. I think it was really, really well made, like with all the twitching and like the animatronics pulling him back to the back room and all. I think it was very impressive. The spring locking scene was, also very impressive. That moment and all. It was very, very interesting, in my opinion. And another thing is, in the movie, people die left and right. But really, nobody seems to care. Like, near the end, the evil aunt, dies as well. But no one cares. Like, she died at Mike's house, but at the next scene, we see, like, Mike going with, going to Abby's school, and they're all having fun and all. Like, what? Like, okay, maybe because she was a villain, we don't really care about her death, but, like, bro. And at the end of the movie, we also get another Balloon Boy jump scare. And I think at total, we've had like 3 or 4 Balloon Boy jump scares, zoom and all. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, they're goofy, and sometimes some of them were startling as well. But at the last one, I was like baffling at that point. I was like, why? At the end of the movie, the cast music being Five Nights at Freddy's by Living Tombstone was also very fun, very interesting. I like that music. I listen to it from time to time. So them actually having a collaboration, working with Living Tombstone was fun to see, actually. And overall, in general, movie had some surprising stuff, fun cameos. I think it was more fun with all the cameos. I remember seeing MatPat, and this is a story from, I guess, 6 months ago or something. I've seen people on Twitter posting Markiplier on the TVs, which was funny. And I thought that was real, by the way. I think it would have been really cool. But that wasn't real, I think. Or I've missed some extra content or something. I just seen the movie and waited for after credits as well. So yeah, I'm only seeing the movie stuff. Well, I think they I mean, what I mean, uh, Scott Cawthon really knows what he's doing. Like the movie was really open for theorizing. Most of the stuff wasn't really delved too deep into, and um, some of the stuff were very vague. So it's really open for theorizing what happens next, or what happened before. You can find your own answers. I think that's um the way of Scott Cawthon telling his stories at this point. And I think that's fun. That's fun. I have nothing against it. It wasn't like they left me with a big, find yourself. But more than like, if you like to know more, you can, think about what's happened. We have some clues for you if you'd like to, but if you don't, just move on. It's all right. I felt like that. I'm not really too deep into, knowing everything. Like, I don't really die for the answers on Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's fun to watch other people theorize about them from time to time. So, yeah, I think it's a fun thing. This is my relationship with this series. Um, so yeah. And one last interesting and fun thing about the movie was at the end they spell find me with the old minigame letter spelling stuff. Um so yeah, F I and something like that. I think that was fun too. Like, it's clear that they wanted to deliver something for the fans. At least that's how a surface level fan thinks. And, it was fine. It was good. I think they weren't trying to be scary all that much. I'm not sure if they marketed this as a horror movie. I would assume so. And it may be horrific for some people, by the way. It may be scary for some people. But it really wasn't for me. And I think that tells a lot. Because, dude, I really get scared very easily. So I'm really not good at consuming these types of media. And actually, that's why I chose this movie to begin, because I'd love to watch more horror movies. Although I love thriller movies more, movies with tension and all, I like that genre more than horror necessarily. But I think horror genre is also very fun. There are very interesting stuff. And yeah, I want to train my brain little by little to be able to watch some interesting and fun horror movies as well. And Five Nights at Freddy's was probably the first horror movie. No, not the first horror movie, but in 2024, the first horror movie that I watched. And I'm glad I've watched. It wasn't a boring movie. It just wasn't my cup of tea when it comes to scariness, because I would love to get a little bit spooked at least. Now I don't really love, getting scared. I really don't enjoy that. And that's why I don't watch horror movies. But when I wanted to get scared and spooked a little bit, I would love to, have that. That was the goal. But anyways, overall, I think it was a fun movie to people who already like the franchise, who like theorizing. I think this movie is a good match for them, especially. And I think it's good for reaching out to a new audience, to new people that didn't knew about Five Nights at Freddy's games or books too, I guess. So yeah, it may have upsetted some hardcore fans or horror fans, I would assume, but I think that wasn't their goal to begin with, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, I would like to rate this movie too. The set was very cool. The pizzeria was very cool. The locations was also very cool. Although we haven't really seen much of the outside world, we were generally in places, but when we do see outside world, I think it was really cool. The transitions were also very cool. I really liked the transitions. There were, scene transitions and audio transitions, and I really love that. I love seeing that, care put into movies. I think it's a small thing, but it's an important thing to me. So I enjoyed that as well. The costumes were also very nice. And lastly, the animatronics were very good. But especially this spring lock suit was incredible. I loved it a lot. Overall, I give Five Nights at Freddy's movie a 6.5 out of 10. It was a fun movie. I wouldn't recommend if you're looking for a scary movie though, but if you want to get into, scary movies, this may be a good starting point for the very bottom, I would assume. But yeah, that's really about it. I've also seen Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, so I will be making a video on that as well very soon. So yeah, see ya.